If I'm Doug Peterson this week, there is no breakfast for the offensive line. No bacon, no sausage, no pancakes, no chicken and waffle, no grits, no potatoes, no nothing. No, definitely no Haagen-Dazs. Not for you guys this week. This team, this offensive line, they need to come into Sunday's game pissed the fuck off. James Worthington is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. They better be starving.
Yeah, I mean, after last week's debacle, that was one of the worst games I've seen them play in a while, man. You and I were both pretty confident in them, and they just didn't get the job done. I mean, they're going to be coming out in front of the home crowd. Everybody's expecting them to play better, and I think they expect better of themselves. They're nowhere as close to where they were last year, but, I mean, this is the first time they get to try and get back on track, man, because last week was unacceptable.
It was unacceptable, but you know what? If you really think about it, it might have been the best thing that could have happened because the wake-up call happened. And I hope they made the proper adjustments heading into this game. Because I told you even earlier this week, if Tennessee would have lost, let's say the 4th and 15 fell incomplete, Eagles win at 23-20. You know what would have happened this week? They would have gotten trounced because they wouldn't have changed anything. They were 3-1. So they thought to themselves, we don't need to change anything. And I think Minnesota would have came in here with those receivers that they have, and they just kind of chucked the ball all around the field. But now the script has changed. The Eagles know that they're not good enough right now, that they have to make some adjustments, and they're going to go into this game with, I think there's a little bit more motivation, obviously. Not that there wasn't before, but now they know that their backs are against the wall, and they got to bring it.
Yeah, especially with Minnesota, who they're at 1-2-1 right now. So it's kind of a must-win for both teams. They know they're going to get Minnesota's best shot, especially after last year where we just pretty much embarrassed them on national TV. This game's going to be nationally televised. Everybody's going to be ready for it. And the one thing that, makes them a little bit even more scary, I think, is they got the Eagle killer, Kirk Cousins, now, who always plays good against us. I remember all the games I've seen, and he just torches us. So they got to be ready, man, because and it's like, we're a quarter of the way through the season. They're on pace to be 8-8. So that's not a good year for a defending Super Bowl champion.
No, definitely not at all. But we obviously know that there's a lot better that can be played out there on the football field. So you talked about Kirk Cousins. I got the numbers. I got them. So 7 career games against Phillies, 4-3. 177 of 255, 2,122 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, quarterback rating of 99.7. But at Lincoln Financial Field, he's actually even better. 112.0 passer rating, and then he's got 12 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. So that's a guy that gets the ball out quick. And if you remember, man, like heading into the NFC Championship game, I was very, very confident because Case Keenum, I knew that he was a fraud, that the pressure would get to him, that he would throw some lollipops. But with Kirk Cousins, it's a little bit different here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I know that you and me are both higher on Kirk Cousins than some people. I think he's a hell of a quarterback. I always have. People that think, Washington made kind of a sideways move going from him to Alex Smith, I completely disagree with. I mean, and now look at all the weapons he has. They just put up huge numbers last week. I know they lost to L.A., but that passing game, man, it still looked really good. And I'd say, I know they were missing Aqib Talib last week, but they still have, I think, more talent than us in the defensive backfield. So it's going to be tough, man. We're going to have the work cut out for us, and it's like every week, the D-line's going to have to get there. They're going to have to take over the game if we're going to win because Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, that's scary for us to cover with how we've looked lately.
Yeah, this game, if the Eagles are going to win, it's going to have to be won in the trenches because if Kirk Cousins gets time, Jalen Mills, the way he's going right now, it's trouble. I mean, I got the numbers here. It's not pretty. He's allowed 20 catches on 27 targets, 276 yards, quarterback rating 118.8. And, as I've been kind of saying all week, I mean, when you give opposing quarterbacks time, Mills doesn't have the long speed to compete, and he's just been getting roasted all season long.
Yeah, and that's, pretty much anybody that knows football knows if you don't get pressure, if you don't got good defensive backs and corners, they're going to get burnt. The thing with me is if our D-line's not getting pressure or, even if we want them, if they're going to get the ball out quick, like I don't know why we play so far off. I mean, I get that they don't want to get beat by the deep ball, but we're playing so far off. They just get the ball out so quick. It's just I don't know. I don't understand it. I know it's Schwartz's philosophy. He's always been that way. Probably not going to change, but it's just something that I wish they would. It's frustrating because Jalen Mills is a physical corner. He can get his hands on somebody. He might have a little bit better of a shot to at least disrupt their route or something. But they're just letting him play 10 yards off. He's just getting run right by.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. It's like you're playing 10 yards off and you're still getting beat by 10 yards on the deep.
Yeah, it's scary. It looks like the Super Bowl.
You might as well play 20 yards off.
Yeah. It's really bad, and it's like really frustrating to watch because listen, I've always known he's not the most talented corner. I know he's good for a couple flags a game, but he battles. He's always battled. This year, it just looks different. And honestly, like we talked about earlier, he had the big microscope on his back because he got beat on a couple plays, but it wasn't all his fault. Well, he's gotten worse. Like it hasn't gotten any better, and that combined with Darby's piss poor tackling out there. And we got receivers running wide open all over the field. I mean, it's scary, man. It's not good. It looks a lot like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Jim has to make adjustments too on the back end because this cover 3 is not going to work with the current safety situation. It's just not. And last week they were playing cover 3 with some cover 2 robber that just was awful, didn't work, just exposed the middle of the defense. So I think what they have to do is normally the cover 3, they like to kind of put the 8 men in the box and stop the run. Well, they're the best run defense in football. You don't need 8 men in the box. Put the extra safety back there. Help out your cornerbacks for fuck's sake. Come on, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, for real, I agree. We got enough talent up front to be able to generate pressure without having to put 8 guys in there. We can stop the run without having to put 8 guys in there. So to me, it's like we're thin at safety. Like Corey Graham is not a starting caliber safety, so we're going to have to make adjustments. It's just I'm concerned. I think we're going to win, but like I'm very concerned. My bias might be leaking through a little bit, and I'm the same way you are. I don't know what you're picking this week, but if they would have won the game last week, I would have picked against this because for the same reasons.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked them to win this week. And it's funny, like that's why I said it might have been the best thing that happened because it's better to be 3-2 with beating Minnesota than it is being 3-2 and losing Minnesota. So that you can kind of look at it like that. But they got to walk away with a victory. They got to get this done. They got to start making the adjustments. They got to start playing better, and that's what it is. So I've got quotes too from Jim Schwartz about Jalen Mills, obviously firmly behind his corner. One of the reasons we had a big parade on Broad Street was Jalen Mills. He's played a lot like a 2-2 corner. We've played a lot like a 2-2 defense. We've played a lot like a 2-2 team right now. There's been inconsistencies all around, but it's our job to help him through that. It's his job to get out of that. I'm firmly behind Jalen Mills. The guy's played a lot of good football for us, and he epitomizes a lot of good things. We're about defensively, toughness and competitiveness and ability to bounce back, and I'm confident he will. But he's right. It's our job to help him through that. Jim, make the fucking adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, he has to. And the one really concerning thing is I did hear those quotes. I'm sick and tired of hearing about the Super Bowl last year. Like, listen, I love it. It was the greatest month of my life when they won. It was awesome. But I don't care that he got you there last year. Like, I get it. I totally get it. And he deserves a bit longer of a leash. But these guys need to snap out of it. I mean, I don't know if it's a Super Bowl hangover, if they just needed that wake-up call. If, I know some guys like Brandon Graham's playing hurt, Jernigan's not in there, so Cox is playing more. But, it's 4 weeks into the season. Like, don't tell me that he helped us win a Super Bowl and get a parade last year. While I appreciate that, and I'll never forget it, like, it's 2018, man. It's time to get your act together.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you there, man. That's a good point. I love it. James bringing the fire.
I mean, it's just like when your defensive coordinator's saying that, most of the time your coach, what they say kind of reflects the attitude of the locker room. So, it's just a time to stop thinking about it, man. I think our leadership, Malcolm, Carson, Jason Peters, hopefully Fletcher, BG, and everybody, we got a bunch of leaders can kind of just help us turn away from that. I hope Doug Peterson's kind of tone this week was, wake up. We're out of time.
Yeah. And there's no more excuses for the offense. It's now or never now. Carson Wentz, he's back. He looks fantastic. Alshon Jeffrey, he's back. had over 100 yards.
He looked great.
Oh, he did. But they cannot take the leap forward yet because of the fucking offensive line. It's pissing me off.
Who we thought was like the strength of the offense. Like, I look at our offensive line on paper and we see what they did last year, man. They were amazing. I was talking to you about what offensive line unit was better last year, like 2003, 2004, that group, which was a hell of an offensive line.
Yeah.
Well, how they're playing now, like Lane Johnson's getting beat a lot. Jason Peters, I don't know if he's hurt or what, but he doesn't look anything like himself. Wisniewski, like what? Brandon,
got replaced.
Everybody is just looking horrible, man. It's I really don't have words for it.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and I don't want to say like the issue was.
I'm fucking pissed because of the quarterback, and he's coming off the ACL and the like. What the fuck?
Yeah, they're gonna get him killed. Like, do they want Carson to go down again? I don't think so. Like, have a sense of urgency, protect your man. Like, that's the leader of your offense. You're not supposed to let him get touched. How many times did he get hurried and hit last week? Like, it was unbelievable. I was watching the game last night, and like Brady has like 30 dropbacks, 4 pressures. I'm like, damn, why can't we have that? Like, I think I saw at one point it's like 14 dropbacks, 9 hurries. Like, it was horrible.
It was 14 hurries, 11 hits, 4 sacks.
Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. I mean, I get that Carson still holds the ball a little long at times, but that's kind of the nature of how he plays. He's getting better, I think. But as an offensive line, you got to give him time. There's certain times he drops back, he's running for his life immediately.
Yeah. You ain't kidding. And I think Doug Peterson needs to help out his quarterback too. Run the football.
Yeah.
I wrote about this week on Philly Influencer. So they are running the ball 37% of the time, but they are averaging 4.4 yards per carry. So it's still working. I mean, like, J.J.'s missing time, Corey Clement's missing time, Darren Sproles missing time, but they're still running the football very effectively. Wendell Smallwood's averaging over 7 yards a carry. Josh Adams is averaging over 5 yards a carry. It does not matter who you put back there. This offensive line run blocks. This is what they do best. This is what you got to get back to. You got to get back to the 50-50 ratio. So you get back to that. I know Minnesota's a good run defense. I don't give a fuck. This offensive line is the best unit in the NFL. I don't want to hear that excuse. You run the ball down their fucking throat. You open up the play action, and you get the whole offense going.
Exactly. You start getting momentum. You start getting that rhythm. The O-line gets chomping, man. The whole wheels start get turning. I mean, and they will be grinding the opponent into the ground. That's what they like to do. They like to run block. You set the defense up for the run. You get Carson Wentz back there running play action. He's going to just basically just kind of dissect the defense, read it, and make the right throw. I mean, when you set up the run and they're not just waiting for you to drop back and pass, it just opens up so much. And it's just – it's discouraging to see him get like so pass happy. It makes me go, okay, was Frank Reich and John DeFilippo this big of a deal? Like, were they that important in our success? And I know that Doug trusts his assistant coaches. Like, I saw a couple of things DeFilippo said about Doug and how much he liked him. Well, are these coordinators? Are they just not getting the job done, or what? I mean, at the end of the day, it's Doug Peterson's responsibility, and he calls the plays. So get back to the run. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we did last year when we won. I don't know why it's so hard for him to get back there. I get that he's kind of tied to Carson and his success, but I mean, Carson's going to be here for a while. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear that it's like, oh, well, Andy Reid loved McNabb. That's why he always threw. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is win the football game.
Alshon Jeffrey, let's get into him. Obviously, first game back was tremendous. 8 receptions, 105 yards, had a touchdown. So he did several things well, and I'll tell you what. I'm curious, like that shoulder that got healed. He looks so much better off the line, like his release, because he's able to get physical. He can use the club now because what he did to Malcolm Butler on a play, like he just bitch slapped him, like get the fuck out of my way. And Jeffrey was outstanding.
He looked awesome. I was so happy to see him back out there. That one touchdown catch he had is exactly why we brought him here. He honestly, I totally agree. He looked way better than like almost any game he had last year, except maybe 2 playoff ones. And that's probably why, because he's actually healthy, which is honestly rare for him to be. Even when he's been on the field in his career, he's been banged up. So it's nice to see, and Carson Wentz trusts him to just kind of throw it up there and go get it. That was a good sign. I really like that. I think he's going to continue his success going forward. Honestly, coming into the year, I thought another offseason with him and Carson, even though they didn't really get to work out together, it's just more chemistry. I thought he'd have a big season. So last week was promising.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun this week because he's going to go up against Xavier Rhodes, and both those guys physical. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a really fun matchup. But while that matchup is fun and all, let's talk about this normally vaunted Vikings defense. So they've gone from leading the NFL in points and yards allowed to being ranked 22nd and 21st, respectively. They allowed 8 plays of 20-plus yards last week to the Rams. This has been a piss-poor defensive unit. I know that they have played some good opponents. They played the Rams. They played the Packers. Buffalo just surprisingly put up 27 on them for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. I mean, maybe this is the week they turn around. I don't know. I mean, I know they started 2-2, I think, last year, but I don't know what the fuck. They're just not stopping people.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird. I thought they were going to be better. I think they still will be better. I think they're going to wake up, which is what this game is so kind of hard to get a read on.
Yes, it's very hard. Yes.
Both teams, it's like their backs against the wall, and they're both Super Bowl contenders. So you're going to get the best game from both of them. I really like both the coaches, and they'll be ready to play. It's just the advantage, I think, is us being at home. We're just so much better at home. If this was in Minnesota, I still would probably pick the Vikings. So I think that's going to be the difference is the home field. I mean, I don't know we're like 17-2 or 19-2 at home over the past. Like we're something nuts, man. So there's a clear home field advantage. We always talk about that. But we're going to get their best shot. And I do think by the end of the year, I don't know if they'll win the division, but the Vikings will have 11 wins, 10 wins probably. They're a good team, at least on paper.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of get through their passing yards allowed stats, they're allowing 85 yards more per game through the air this year than last. So they were surrendering 192.4 pass yards per game last year. That was second. Right now they're 26th at 277.5. Anthony Barr has been a problem for them. So, but Barr is like a crazy weird player. Like he's so Jekyll and Hyde. He's an All-Pro one year, and then he's fucking Kiko Alonso the next.
It makes no sense because he was an animal last year, and I know he was he was really good coming out of college. Everybody thought he would be a good player because he's so talented, but it's just got to be something between the ears of him because I know he got killed a couple times last week in coverage.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him, and I know that they're down Everson Griffin, but I mean, you don't think one player makes that much of a difference, but who knows? I mean, it's definitely perplexing why the Vikings look so bad on defense, but you know what? I'll take it if they play like that against us.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that. I mean, you talk about Everson Griffin. I mean, he is a very good player, obviously. They do have another pass rusher that's very underrated too, and Daniil Hunter. He's really good. So that's going to be the guy to worry about. But we'll see. Lane Johnson. Hopefully, he can wake up after last week. It's like I heard somebody say, like, well, Harold Landry is a good-looking rookie, and then I'm thinking to myself, did you forget who he stopped last year?
Yeah,
Khalil Mack, Justin Houston, Joey Bosa, Von Miller,
the whole AFC West.
Yeah. That's what Lane Johnson did last year. Yeah. Lane Johnson is not looking like Lane Johnson right now.
No, and he has become one of the more vocal leaders on the team. I think, he's been kind of stepping into that leadership role as a younger player. But I mean, he was talked about as one of the best right tackles, if not the best right tackle in football last year. And he is on certain plays, guys are just driving him back, man. Like I don't know if he's also playing hurt or if maybe he just didn't take the offseason as seriously, but it's just weird. Like there's so many cases with players that they are just not playing close to the level they were last year.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of them that isn't or that is playing their level last year, who I'm surprised is Carson. Carson looks great so far without having played in like almost 9 or 10 months. And he looks more ready than half our freaking caliber players.
Dude, you're not wrong. he he might be more ready than anyone on the team right
Yeah, like dude, he was out. It's just he looked great the first week. Like, yeah, we nitpicked some things,
now.
but
Yeah.
for all things considered, man, like he looked pretty much the same Carson. And now what? He's been sacked like 10 times the last 2 weeks or 9 times or something. Like he's going to get hurt again. And you don't want this guy to get labeled injury prone. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah. I don't think we got into this yet. There is going to be a change within the offensive line. So Isaac Seumalo is going to replace Stefan Wisniewski.
Wow, I didn't even hear about that. Wow.
Yeah, that happened. So that might have happened when you were driving home from work, actually.
Oh,
I don't
really?
like this move. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, we'll say Malu looked horrible last year, so I
He
wouldn't be
was the one
surprised
that
to see.
got originally replaced.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see like halfway through the first half, Wisniewski trots right back out there because why break up the unit that? And I'm going to go back and say won you the Super Bowl, even though I just torched Jim Schwartz about that. But I'm not coaching the team. Why are you breaking up that unit, man? Like, why break that up? The offensive line is about cohesion. Like, it's like every player, they kind of have to work together, even though, it's block your man, take care of your assignment. The way a good offensive line plays, it's like they move as one unit. It's like cohesive. That's breaking up that cohesion. I don't agree with it. And if they're going to leave Jalen Mills out there, what the hell?
They switch it. They switch the left guard, but nope, Jalen Bell's still your quarterback. Huh?
It's weird. Though the one thing I did want to say, so I don't know if you had this on your list, but talking about Alshon, him having a good game, Nelson Aguilar did not have a good game last week.
No, he didn't.
So I think that it's extremely important to get him a couple easy, quick routes and get the ball in his hands and get his confidence going. Because if he has another bad game, you don't know what's going to happen with him. We need to keep his confidence high because he's really important to our offense. Without him, it's Jeffrey and Ertz.
And he's kind of where you want to go on this Minnesota. See, it's like crazy to talk about this. It's like their secondary is loaded, but they're 26 against the pass right now. It's just so weird. I'm still considering them like a great defense,
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the situation in the slot. So you got Nelson Aguilar going against Mackenzie Alexander. If Jeffrey is shut down for whatever reason against Rhodes, that's kind of a matchup you may want to look at. The other matchup is that they just torched Harrison Smith in the NFC Championship game with Zach Ertz. That's another thing I'm going to be looking at there. I think they'll be doing a lot of Zachary again. He's on pace to go for 1,200 yards right now. So those two guys, Aguilar and Ertz, are probably passing targets.
Trey Waynes is out this week, right?
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, I just saw that. So yeah, it says he's out, which means that's going to push that rookie in, right?
Yeah, Mike Hughes. I mean, Mike Hughes is good though. I like him.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, I'll take Trey Waynes out, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if he's out, that puts Alexander outside. Now I don't know how good he is, but
so they're going to put Alexander outside.
Either Alexander outside or Hughes. I don't know what they'll do, but if Trey Waynes being out, it's pretty big, I think.
I mean, that's not like we have a number 2 guy that can go outside.
Anyway. Yeah, Jordan Matthews, right?
Jordan Matthews is going
to. Wait, where did Elliot Shore Parks tweet about his catch last week? Did he say he had the most yards per catch?
I don't, dude.
Yeah, I think the guy, nothing against him personally, but he's on his knees a lot for Jordan Matthews.
Like, see, and he got hired by WIP, and like Spike. Yeah. Spike is like a big takes guy, and
Spike and him are both like hipsterish too. So,
I don't think he could last like 5 minutes with me talking Eagles, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he just is clickbait. Like everything he says is clickbait. Yeah, his like top 5 worst takes, which I actually, if he's going to call himself out and all that, I respect that. But they were horrible. Like I sat there and I'm like, well, I thought the complete opposite of this. I don't get paid to do that. Like, what? Like Alshon Jeffrey's not going to help the offense. Are you freaking kidding me? Like,
God, Elliot. I got to get to WIP, man. Like for real. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that's the next thing on the agenda. Okay, so their running game, they're dead last right now. Eagles are first in stopping it. Minnesota, the only team in the NFL right now without a rushing touchdown or a running back that has eclipsed 100 yards. Dalvin Cook has struggled with some hamstring injuries. He suffered it against Green Bay. I believe that was the Week 2 game. he missed the week 3 game. I forget who they played, but then I believe he was limited last week. So he has not gotten going. The offensive line that was like pretty good last year is back to being bad, and they have not been able to create any holes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty surprising because Dalvin Cook was a hell of a player last year before he got hurt.
Yeah,
I know
I don't think it's him, dude. It's the O line.
yeah,
Like,
no, and trust me, I know, like, you can put any running back there, but if you're not blocking, it doesn't
yeah,
matter. But just from seeing him run, like he does look like he is a little hurt, and a good running back can cover up some mistakes up front. And I didn't think their O line was that good last year, so I'm not surprised to see them come back down to earth. I mean, look at what happened to us last week, though. Tennessee is they run the ball the most in the NFL, or one of the most in the NFL. They didn't run the ball a lot against us. They just passed. So
yeah.
I don't think Minnesota's going to really even try to run the football. I think they're going to come out and they're just going to attack Jalen Mills. That's exactly what I think they're going to do.
Yeah, I think Pat Elflein is back for them, if I remember correctly. So they got him back.
Is he up front or is he
Center.
fullback?
He's a
Center? Okay.
Yeah. So
for some reason he sounded like a fullback to me.
yeah, they drafted him last year in it was either the 2nd or 3rd round they took him. So he should, I think he either came back last week or he's back this week. I forget what I read, but Brett Jones was their center. And then now it's somebody else, obviously, with Elflein, and he had a good year last year. So Riley Reif is their left tackle, and he came off a great year last year, but this year hasn't been so hot for him. Tom Compton is just meh. Mike Remmers, their right guard, is meh. Rashad Hill, meh. They're all meh. So yeah. I swear to God, if there's no deep penetration, and I'm talking deep, they all should be fired.
Yeah, I mean, and dude, like Fletcher Cox, speaking of deep penetration, he wants to be the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. Well, he started off great, and he's playing good, but you got to be the motor that drives the defense. You make a big play, you got to get them hype. And I've seen him a couple times with the Bennett sack, I think it was. He got real hype. They did a cool dance or whatever. Fletcher Cox got to be that guy, man. Like, that's what you got to do. I remember back when I played in high school even. They're like, yo, your boy makes a big play, you go dab him up. You get hype. It gets the momentum going. It gets your attitude going. You get a little more swagger to you. And that could change things, man. Like, football it's really physical, but it's very, very mental as well. And that's what Fletcher's got to do. He's got to make a big play early and get this defense going, him and Malcolm, man. And I think they will, because they'll be feeding off the home crowd. And Philly loves a good defense, like I always say. So, I mean, that it's, again, like, no excuse, man. Like, it's go time. This defense is supposed to be one of the best in the league. It's time to show it.
Yes. Cox needs to come out cock swinging.
Yeah.
Swinging. Just swinging for the fences. And, yeah, let's just say it again because I know you guys love it. Fletcher Cox and some deep penetration. There it is. Yeah, I'm starting to get in mid-season form, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Hopefully our line can get there.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. I mean, it honestly, it comes down to those 2 units, D-line, yeah. O-line. They play better. We start winning football games. I'm trying to figure out. It's like, should we even be concerned? Like, should we be concerned about this team right now? Because the way I kind of look at it, it's like, I don't feel like they could play any worse than they did the first month, and they're 2-2. We'll see. What do you think about that?
That's exactly what I think. Again, like, this is a team that they have a lot of good leaders. I think we have good coaches on the team. The talent's there. They're going to put it together. They're too good not to. The Super Bowl hangover thing might have been a little more real than we thought. I know I was a little concerned about it, but once we beat Atlanta, I was like, oh, everything's all fine and dandy. Well, yeah. It turns out it's not. So, we thought – I know some people thought it might take them some time to get going with all the guys coming off the injuries. Well, yeah, that's your month. That's your month of what you're supposed to do. Look at New England last night. They looked a lot better. The New England's starting to get round into kind of form.
I'm not going to say anything about Josh Gordon. Don't worry.
But that's what we need to do. I mean, we're modeling ourselves after them. So it's time to get it together. We're 2-2. We're not in a bad spot. We got a tough schedule coming up. So get your shit together, because it's only going to take like 10 wins to win this division. But if we want to have home field, you got to get to at least 12. So
Yeah.
that's 12-2 for the rest of the year. So that starts this week.
And that's what it's about, because if you don't get home field, probably not going to.
No, if the Eagles don't get home field advantage, unless they get a couple breaks, they're not going to go back to the Super Bowl because, unfortunately, this defense is a lot different on the road. And if we don't get home field, it's probably going through LA. And I hate to say it because I kind of thought they would fall on their face a little bit. They look unbelievably good,
They
like
do.
scary good. Jared Goff, I know he's still got McVay in his ear, but he throws a pretty football, man. Like, he put that he's a better thrower. He's got a better arm than Wentz, like accuracy wise, precision wise. But what makes Wentz the better player, in my opinion, is the pre-snap, the natural leadership ability, the intelligence.
I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Because I don't think Jared Goff would have as much success here, but I think Wentz would be just as good out there. So
I definitely because it comes back to the whole controlling the line of scrimmage thing.
Yep.
I think that's a big deal. So
100%. That's why Jared Goff got blessed to get McVay as coach, man, because that guy's a genius.
Well, I had there was a tweet, but okay, never mind. I found his account. I thought Reuben Frank's account got suspended for a second. He had a stat that I saw, home and away defensive stats, but it might already be too late in the day to go look that up again because he tweets all day. Yeah. Forget it. I'm not going to find it. 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 Nope. All right. Forget it. That's it. All right. Let's make predictions for the game.
Sounds good. So I went back and forth with the score a little bit, but I kind of think I finally settled on it. So I think the defense is going to play good, but I do think Minnesota's passing offense, poses a legitimate threat. Yep. I got the Eagles winning 30-24, a little bit more high scoring than some people might have, but I think the offense is going to put up some points. I think they're going to look better. I really think the offensive line is going to play a good game. If I've said this, I think every week on this show, so I'm freaking putting everything behind it this time. If they don't play good this week, I might be legitimately scared. I think they're going to get it together. I think that it might not even be that close. Like, it won't be, the Eagles kind of have a last-second drive to win. I think they'll be in control. I think we win, man, 30-24.
Okay. All right. I've got 27-23. So I got that. I think the offense will score a little bit, and I think they're going to take advantage of Zach Ertz and Nelson Aguilar. Maybe they get a running back matched up with Anthony Barr. It'd be nice if Darren Sproles was back to being the old Darren Sproles for this game. That'd be a nice matchup to exploit. But God, they can't even do anything with that because with Clement might be out too. So he's got the quad injury. I believe he's going to be questionable. And Sproles, I think, has already been ruled out, and Barnett has been ruled out. So
Barnett's out. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Barnett is out.
That's a big loss.
Yeah. So
he's played pretty good this season, honestly.
Yeah. The last 2 weeks, he's taken a huge stride forward. Yeah.
Yeah, and and it sucks too because as much as I love Sproles and I wanted Sproles back, LeGarrette Blount would look very good in this offense. I know he got paid a bit more than Sproles did, but it kind of sounded like it came down to either one of them. And with Ajayi out, with Clement out, LeGarrette Blount's your kind of guy you'd go to last year to pound the game out and finish it off. And I know he's not doing that good in Detroit, but you kind of miss him and his production.
Yeah. He's your closer. Yeah, you close that game out in the fourth quarter, pick up 3, 4, 5 first downs to take that 8 minutes off the clock and just put the game.
Yep. And I really do miss him, man, because we haven't really had a running back like that here in a while. If not, I don't really remember one at all. I mean, he was a bulldozer, dude.
The runaway train. Runaway train. Yep, that's what he was. All right, I think that's it. You got anything else you want to say?
Nothing, man. Going to be a big game. Go Birds. I'll be there, and you'll hear one of my 69,000 voices. So hopefully we're loud, man. I'm excited.
69,000 voices. You know what that means. Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, buddy.
Big penetration. Oh, yeah. 69. There you go.
I didn't even mean to pull that number out.
There you go. All right. That's James Worthington. Man, I fucked that up. James Worthington. I am Adrian Fedke with my Whiz Wit shirt. There you go. We're out of here. Take care.